Non-player characters exist to fill the scenery or ask you to do something for them. And a lot of questing would be super weird without NPCs, so obviously they're good to have around, and of course you're going to help them if they need it. That's the game, right? But what happens when your assistance is actually pretty negative for them in the long run? Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 NPC lives you ruined by helping. Starting off at number 10, it's Sorceress Selene from Elden Ring. In the lands between, nothing ever gets better. The best you can hope for is leaving things generally as they were, but that's even pretty rare. Pretty much every side quest in this game ends badly. Either somebody betrays you, character dies miserably, usually both, sometimes at the same time even. Take Sorceress Selene, for example. She's got this long, winding quest line that involves finding a bunch of hidden sorcery magic. All the while, she's being targeted by this witch hunter who you can eventually side with or turn against, but we're helping Selene here, so we don't want some hunter taking her out. She's probably got some sweet magic that she's going to give us for our trouble, right? You know, that's what this seems like. It is inevitable that Selene dies during the course of the quest, but you can bring her back in the body of a doll. Yay! Although, like everything else in the game, it's not exactly obvious to do it.
Jaren, bringer of my death, you have my gratitude for freeing me from my shadows. I paid your word. Join me to reflect on your mistake.
After reviving her and defeating Renala, you're given the option to, either assist her in taking over the Academy of Raya Lucaria, or fighting her, but you're her apprentice. You've been working for her this whole time, and she's been acting kind of sinister, and, well, anybody and everybody in Elden Ring acts kind of sinister, but of course you're going to protect her, right? In order for us to talk about this point in this list, it has to be the helping her way. Everything seems cool after the fight's over. I doubt she's happy at the school, but everything's looking good, nothing unusual here, blah, blah, blah. It's one of the few times someone's unambiguously successful at achieving their goal in one of these games. So you leave, content that everything worked out, job done, everybody's happy, right? So you're gone for a while, decide to pop back in, like learn a new spell or something, and oh hey, look, she transformed into a big magic ball that can barely speak. Monstrosity.
My friend,
And us helping her somehow led to this. I don't know how, but yeah, maybe we should have just left her alone back in the Waypoint ruins back in Limgrave, Might have worked out better. And number 9 is Tommy Walker in Cyberpunk 2077. It's another one of those games where you're just casually out ruining lives all over town, sometimes on purpose, but mostly as a consequence of your actions. Most of your victims aren't all that sympathetic themselves, but there's an occasional kid like Tommy Walker there to remind you that sometimes, no matter what you do in the world, somebody is going to suffer for it. The mission's simple enough. Infiltrate the Center for Neuromotor Development in Dogtown and grab some files from the director's office. The place is supposed to be a training academy for up-and-coming sports stars, but what you see when you enter is far more messed up than it sounds. It's essentially an auction for desperate youths who are sold into indentured servitude. These aren't college-age kids either, they're between like 10 and 12. And they're already getting augmented to hell and back to give them a competitive edge. If they're signed by a team, they get to leave Dogtown, but their lives are highly monitored and controlled.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next junior for the 2077-2078 season is Katie McCannon. Katie is a young but extremely talented soccer player, top scoring position, midfielder. She's equipped with permanently reinforced ACLs and boasts excellent quadricep growth. If you're interested in Katie, please see our starting offer. You can also see her latest performance statistics up on the board.
They're in massive debt for the tech implants, and they're thrown into a cutthroat and competitive sporting world that's so much worse than what we've got going on in the real world. You can find Tommy in the main office and choose to help him out, get him signed with a team, but you'll allow the exploitation of kids to continue. It's possible to get the place shut down, give Tommy his freedom, but if you find him again, he's just resentful of you taking away his only chance at leaving the hellhole of a city. So basically, Tommy's screwed either way.
I have a duty to protect my business and my clients. You understand that, I'm sure.
Business? The f***ing gall.
Think of the children. Would you really deprive them of their only chance for a better life?
Just gets better and better, this.
If you please, just hear me out. I'd like to make you an offer.
I'll make you a counteroffer.
Oh?
Get f***ed.
No need to get emotional.
Finally.
Let's be professional about this.
At number 8 is Charles Kinnear from Red Dead Redemption. The cyberpunk stuff was kind of heavy, so here's an NPC that's just an idiot. The Mexico portion of the first Red Dead, you meet a guy standing on the edge of the cliff named Charles. Like a lot of strangers you meet in the game, he needs help. He wants to collect some resources for him to complete his flying machine. You don't need much, 5 beaver furs, 12 bird feathers, and 10 red sage, and he'll be good to go. Ah yes, a classic component of a flying machine, a beaver fur. Anyway, you bring all this junk back, and he'll complete his preparations for his first flight and then immediately fall to his death. Because he's using bird feathers and beaver furs. The flying machine doesn't do anything, and Charles has a coyote's breakfast.
The bird has learned this art of equilibrium, and learned it so thoroughly that its skill is not apparent to our sight. We only learn to appreciate it when we try to imitate it. And I, Charles Kinnear, will now demonstrate the miracle of flight. Into the wild blue yonder, Marston. Oh dear.
Sometimes there isn't some complicated moral calculus you have to figure out when choosing to help somebody in a game. Sometimes they're just too stupid to live. If you hadn't done anything, he'd still be standing there on the cliff looking like someone who might have some idea what they're doing, asking some poor sap to help collecting the components for his flight machine. Helping him doesn't just ruin his life, it kills him. And you have to do a tedious fetch quest to do it. So, in this case, unless you really like seeing a delusional man jump off a cliff, which, don't get me wrong, is funny the first time, but maybe not more than once, it's not really worth the trouble. At number 7 is Vigilant Tyrannus and Logrif the Willful from Skywim. Oh my god, I'm leaving that one in. Skyrim. Most of the time in Skyrim you play as Goody Two-Shoes, but this quest goes in a different direction. It starts off normal. Guy named Vigilant Tyrannus, who sounds like a supervillain, but seems like just regular old exorcist, wants some help entering this creepy abandoned house found in Markarth. If you just choose to ignore this guy, he'll be spared, but the moment you agree to help him, his fate is sealed.
Follow me and keep your eyes open. Daedra are powerful creatures and tricksters. Never know what you'll find.
Entering the house seems safe enough, at least before stuff starts flying around the room. You start hearing a voice in your head telling you to kill the other guy.
Weak. He's weak. You're strong. Crush him.
You'd think there would be, some option to resist or fight back. Maybe stand down and the Vigilant will come to his senses. But no, you have one option and one option only. Kill him. I mean, sure, he might attack you first, but if he had never come into this place, he'd be perfectly fine. And, you would be too. This kind of turns you into a murderer. Not that you weren't anyway, but that's not where it stops even.
Yes, your reward is waiting for you, mortal. Further down.
The voice you're hearing is the Daedric Prince Molech Bal. He wants you to take on another guy, only this time it's going to be even worse because you lure him back into the house, trap him in a device, and then you're forced to beat him to death with a rusty mace, and then bring him back to life and do it again. You just go into some random house and suddenly you're the servant of an evil god. Haven't we all been there? I don't know why we all keep going to these random houses.
Call that a swing? You'll pay for this.
I guess you do it as many times as you do in Skyrim, and eventually something's got to happen, right? I would just think that you'd get caught for breaking and entering and serve some time. But I guess Servant of Evil God, that's where it went. And number 6 is Emil from Nier. The story of Emil is a boy who turns people to stone with his vision, and he gets transformed into a hideous, bobble-headed skeleton baby after being forced to kill his mutated sister. A tale as old as time. Very common. Very common. The The sentry's a little different because it's part of the main story, but even compared to the usual misery you inflict on everyone and everything around you in Nier, Emil's whole deal is on another level. Spoilers aside, because seriously, with Nier you can make the case that the NPC lives you have ruined includes potentially the entire human race, but that's all hypothetical. I mean, it will happen, but you don't really feel it, you know? With Emil, the whole messed up situation he's stuck in, you experience it firsthand, you know?
But my body. I can't stand to be with you when I look like this.
What'd I tell you? We're here for you, no matter what.
It all starts after the time skip where Emil's trying to figure out a way to turn Cain back to normal. I guess you could make the case Emil would eventually find the secret lab under his house either way, but at least it speeds up the process, which ultimately leads to Emil's transformation into, you know, whatever this thing is. He becomes an ostracized monster who isn't allowed inside the village, and this new form ultimately leads to him spending thousands of years in total isolation.
Round thing, you okay?
Watch out. They're still alive.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Emil ultimately comes around to a more positive outlook, but that's only after literal centuries of misery and suffering, so, you know, maybe it would have been better if he just stayed a kid who turned people to stone. That's not great either, but at least he had a sweet mansion and a butler to hang out with and wasn't ostracized or spending thousands of years experiencing misery and suffering, you know. At number 5 is Sigmire of Katarina, from Dark Souls, obviously. How can you not love this guy when you see him? Just look at him. His goofy armor and friendly voice makes him one of the few characters in this game that's kind of a relief to see.
Oh, forgive me. I was absorbed in thought. I am Siegmeyer of Katarina. Quite honestly, I've run flat up against a wall. Or a gate, I should say. The thing just won't budge.
And if you're playing the game normally, the ending to his story is actually kind of ambiguous. Most players lose track of him after Anor Londo, which honestly is the best possible outcome for this guy, because if you follow his quest and try to assist him on his mission, it's not a happy ending. You do end up helping him multiple times, and eventually it leaves him feeling indebted to you, so much that he's pressed to sacrificing himself pointlessly against a group of monsters. It's possible to save him, but it's extremely difficult if you're not prepared for it. The only way to survive the encounter is if he survives with more than 50% health, because otherwise he just dies of poison.
Well, you saved me once again. Dear me, what can I say? I have failed you. My dear little...
Saving him doesn't make him any happier, though. Just leaves him feeling more inadequate. His sorrow eventually takes over. No matter what you do, he becomes like a zombie like Hollow. At least his daughter was able to find him, but there's not really any happy ending for Sigmire if you decide to help him out. Just different shades of tragedy.
Oh, have you seen my father? You wouldn't miss him. A suit of armor just like mine. Thank goodness. I knew he was here somewhere. Well then, now I must find him. Thanks again, truly. Now if you'll just stay put and keep out of trouble.
And number 4 is Jarbaern and Dialos from Elden Ring. Speaking of cute little characters whose lives are made significantly worse by your help, let's talk about Jarburg. This happy little hamlet's full of friendly jars hidden away from the chaos of the rest of the world. It's also one of the only towns with friendly NPCs in it. The goofy jars are just chilling out, living the good life, minding their own business. Everyone's happy, and nothing bad can happen here, right? And then you show up. It seems like you're doing these guys a favor. There's a jar that'll talk to you named Jarbaern, who says that the town is being harassed by poachers and they need a new potentate to protect them. Enter Dialos, the fancy lad from the Round Table Hold, who wants to prove his worth. He's clearly kind of a chump. Every time you find him, he's found some new way to come off as a total lame ass. Even the jars are kind of disappointed by his presence, but they're happy to have somebody defending them.
I don't know. I'm a little disappointed, actually. Even though good Sir Dialos has a wonderful suit of armor, he says he isn't a warrior. And since he's a coward, he won't be fighting anymore. His smooth and silky hands feel nice when he pats us. But I wish we had a potentate big and strong like you.
But thing about Elden Ring, happiness isn't allowed. So of course, some poachers attack off-screen and kill all the jars in the village. Diallos' final breath is hoping he managed to save everyone, so of course, he didn't.
The jars. Are they alright? Did I defend them? Then all is well. This fool proved his worth in the end.
All that's left is Jarbairn, who has nothing left, so he leaves the empty town to become a warrior like Alexander.
Cuz, I'm glad you came. But we're fine now. Diallos fought the poacher, though quite a lot of us got broken. I won't cry, though. I'm a warrior, Jar. A warrior.
So to sum up, if you never showed up, nothing would have happened. The jars would still be frolicking in the village. But if you show up and offer even the most cursory help, you doom them all. And number 3 is the Sasquatch from Red Dead Redemption. What starts out with noble intentions goes awry. So John Marston stumbles upon a Bigfoot hunter who wants him to help hunt down a bunch of Sasquatch. They eat babies, you see. They're dangerous. Someone's got to put a stop to them, and that might as well be you.
Damn Sasquatch! The filthy thing was gonna eat my dog when this girl hollered out, and I shot the thing right through the heart. Boom, like that!
You feeling all right, mister? I've seen a lot of strange things recently, but no Sasquatch running around here. Nor no place else. They're made up.
There's Sasquatches every place, cowboy. They're nastier than your mother-in-law with a bad case of that virus.
So you roll around tall trees, blasting any strangely docile Bigfoot you can find, before coming to the last one, who reveals, oops, they're actually herbivores and completely harmless to humans, particularly human babies, which they were accused of killing.
You eat babies. You have to survive. Everyone knows that. Ain't your fault.
We eat berries and mushrooms, you fool. But we did. Now none of us are left. Some maniac's been murdering us.
You just killed all those Sasquatches for no reason. Who's the real monster here? Well, the Sasquatch, because, Sasquatch is a type of monster. But, morally speaking, you're the monster. Kind of makes you into a huge jerk-ass. I mean, you're responsible for killing creatures that aren't just incredibly rare, but also completely harmless and can even talk. All just because some crazy coot was shooting wildly into the woods and complaining about Sasquatches. You don't even see that guy again. He probably tripped on a wood stump in a drunken stupor and broke his neck or some crap. That's the guy you're doing all this work for. Clearly, the message of this one is not to just agree to kill off an entire species because some drunken lote asked you to. Maybe they don't deserve it. Maybe genocide is wrong.
My family is gone. My kind is gone. Shoot me. I can't take it anymore. Make it stop.
And number 2, Hugo from A Plague Tale Requiem. I mean, also from the first Plague Tale, but we're talking specifically about his overall arc here, so we gotta spoil the second Plague Tale game. The cavalcade of suffering that this poor kid goes through, it's so bad. And it's not even a side mission, it's just the story of the game.
What are you doing?
Emily?
Oh, my baby boy. You should get back to bed. Hugo.
You killed her.
No. I'll take you back to bed. Victor, take him back, will you?
But the ultimate thesis is that you make everything so much worse in a misguided attempt to help. It's the opposite of most games, where the willful and good-intentioned hero goes against the grain and decides to do things their own way, but it actually ends up being the right thing to do. That's how most stories like this go. But Plague Tale is not that kind of tale. It is a tale of plagues. Usually not the happiest thing. So yeah, doesn't work out so well. Premise of the second game is that Hugo's a little kid who's got these crazy alchemy powers that make it so he spreads a plague of rats everywhere he goes. It's also killing him, which sucks because they do a really good job making you care about this kid. It's so painful to see him suffer through the treatment by a doctor who seems really unconcerned about his pain.
He's your son. Do something. The protector, fine.
The doctor's a jerk, but as the story unfolds, it becomes more and more clear that instead of running away and chasing after an impossible dream of finding a cure on a mysterious island, they really should have just stayed where they were and continued the treatment. Taking Hugo away from the doctors ultimately leads to a crazy amount of suffering. Entire towns get destroyed by churning seas of rats. Hugo is forced to deal with all kinds of violence and suffering, and in the end, big spoilers here, still dies. Nothing you did in the game helped at all. It only made things worse. The doctors, though jackasses, at least had a chance of doing something. Something particular that isn't killing a bunch of people with rats.
There's your blood! Let the rats eat them! What are you doing? We're making you pay! Keep going, Hugo! Whoa! What? What is that? Stop! What are you Kill that damn girl! Whatever the cost! Yes! Come to me! Give us your blood! Too close! They're far too close!
And finally, at number 1 is the Brotherhood from Fallout New Vegas. There's a lot of things that can ultimately go down in New Vegas. Character stories can run the gamut. They can be really happy. They can be really sad. They're usually somewhere in between. But for the Brotherhood, there is almost no good endings, especially if you actively try to help them. Unlike the Brotherhood of Steel we see in other Fallout stories, the one in New Vegas is isolationist. They're weak, and they're also on the brink of collapse. They become enemies of both the NCR and Caesar's Legion, so they're stuck in their old ways that refuse to do anything, and ultimately, that is going to prevent them from surviving. That's all set up for the quest, I Could Make You Care, given by Veronica. She's a member of the Brotherhood who is advocating for reform. She believes bringing new technology will convince the leaders that they need to get out of their bunker and try to engage with the larger world, or they'll die, which is true, but they don't care. You can't change their minds. It doesn't matter what you do. So Veronica's left with a choice: stay with the Brotherhood that hates her, or leave. And though it sounds obvious, leave, neither option is actually good. Either way, paladins confront you and try to kill you both. It's even worse if she tries to leave and join up with the followers of the apocalypse, because the paladins will kill everyone in their camp before killing you. So there's a few more victims to add to the pile that you inadvertently killed. Ultimately, after beating the game, there's a few good options left for the Brotherhood. The only thing that turns out kind of okay for them is you make peace between them and the NCR, and then take over New Vegas for yourself. They're still really weak and are most likely going to be destroyed by one of the more powerful enemies out there. But hey, they're acting more openly, policing the highways around Vegas. With the Brotherhood in this game, there really is no happy ending. Not for the organization or the characters in it. Veronica's endings are, at best, bittersweet, but the Brotherhood are most likely just delaying the inevitable. And that's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter, Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time, right here on GameRanx.